Hello Harshin agus fáilteadh go Speak Gaelic. Welcome to Speak Gaelic. Get the seo an programme iadh an san trésa. Although I'm sorry to say that this is the final episode in the second series. I always feel a bit sad when we get to the end of a series. Ach, sin mar a ha, mar a va, agus mar a vias. And that means that's how it is, how it was, and how it will be. Sin mar a ha, mar a va, agus mar a vias. In other words, that's just the way it is. Bí mi gur niún drain. I'll miss you all. Bí mi gur niún drain. But remember, you can watch all of our programmes at any time on BBC iPlayer. And there are enough of them to give you a quick fix of Speak Gaelic at any time until we return with a new series. Now, the theme of this episode is nátar. You might be able to guess that this means nature. Nátar. And naturally, we have lots of learning ahead of us. We'll talk about the great outdoors. Calum Maclean takes us to one of Scotland's wonderful nature reserves. Gaelic names for some common wildlife. And I meet learner Liam Alastair Crouse from the United States. Ceart maha, a bhfuil sibh díseal. Nach bríonn sin bicin Gaelic. Let's speak Gaelic. Lots of us enjoy spending time amúi, outside, amúi. And here are some of the features you may see out and about. A forest or wood. Now that's cullia. Cullia. A beach is a trai. Trai. And the Gaelic for a mountain is a bhruidhinn. Bhruidhinn. Now, if you enjoy walking, a useful phrase to say what you've done is gav me cuairt. I took a walk, or I went for a walk. Gav me cuairt. And an example of how to use it in a sentence, gav me cuairt tron chullia. I went for a walk through the woods or the forest. Gav me cuairt tron chullia. Where else might you go for a walk? Jamie, what about eòin trai, on the beach? Eòin trai. Or, if you are inland, suas sa bhfaighinn, up the mountain. Suas sa bhfaighinn. Now, a little bit of revision. You may remember a word we learnt earlier in the series, bhíodh, which means would be. Bhíodh. We use it in sentences such as bhíodh bíodh ma. Food would be good. Bhíodh bíodh ma. In this next conversation, you'll hear Shawnee saying bhíodh sin amúi. We used to be outside. Bhíodh sin amúi. In this instance, it means used to. Listen out for bhíodh sin amúi.
Gàidhlig, Elsie Johnny.
Hi on, I'm all There's a lot of ga. Could you pure?
Bishop Gahion, friend.
Be. Nach ma, kunt er kutje komen. There's a phone.
Ursen B.
Sean Town, Jen Vliona, a Charlotte. Ach, and your saurus a valle, chobdria, the sauro, and San Yelan
En big ship a curshak at Tor Unie a Vlara Mui, a Vashov Orki Johnny.
Vision je mooi, o voch go do, o vading go eiche.
Big my henner a gra, gno hula sound of fata, agus bla, a Vaya Ork.
Vaya kerst. En roll leef on the mountain and Jan Skiernig a weekal.
Haro, I'm your bay nevis la carichin in turas. En Osh of my a srep Johnny.
Van mij srep, aanse Julian. Immer turas. Han norinjo ach en stijre rep en ju.
Let's tell him if you koshach even try. Jay Charlife, try, no one clattach.
Charloam, Coaster Gal, mun chatach. Still fuam na mara.
Nuair a bheith an saoire gan, bheith MacIlleach campacha rí taobh amhain, fearm fuirteach sin snáb agus íoscach.
Nuair a híos elsi, heit sin cuairt gan ealainn. Heit sin scríb tronchaide. Still creibeann.
A creibeann go leor an san learngaelic. Chortach alpa nuaghrí a cuiteach.
Ac cael yn thylch o ma, ri fi y mwy, awn yn adar, coel yn jo charit y fi gan.
Oh.
Nach mag o fy a chwainte.
Cymmer a Gàidhlig. How did you get on? Cymmer a Gàidhlig. We heard Michael asking Shawnee about his youth. He asked if he spent a lot of time I the bhláir mwy. Literally this means out in the field, but it's used for the great outdoors. I the bhláir mwy. Shawnee told him that he spent a lot of time outdoors. Va bhoch gydu, from dawn until dusk. Va bhoch gydu. Shawnee is from the Isle of Skye, so it wasn't a surprise that one of his outdoor pursuits was ystrepán sa chullian, climbing in the Cuillin. Ystrepán sa chullian. Michael prefers walking on the beach. Is tullum via coisiach gyda'n trai. I like to walk on the beach. Is tullum via coisiach gyda'n trai. Their conversation prompts Shawnee to plan a trip with Elsie. Hey, chinir cuairt gan Gàidhlig. We'll go on a trip to the island. Hey, chinir cuairt gan Gàidhlig. People from the Isle of Skye often refer to their island as an chillan, the island. An chillan, without actually naming Skye. An chillan skianach. You also heard the word scríb, which is like a cuairt, but perhaps not so strenuous. Nisha, nach éistin a ríist rí páist in chóragat. Let's listen again to some of that conversation.
An big sibh a cuaiseach a tóir úine a bhláir mwy nuair a bheith sibh óca cheannaí.
Bhí sin mwy o foch go dú, o fadin go aiche.
An os sibh mai a sreip a cheannaí.
Fa mi a srep awn sa chwilian, imach turas. Han nôr yn io ach yn steire a rep yn diw.
Is talm a bhí a cóiseach ar an trai. Dé a searlaibh, trai nó an clatach.
Siarlawn, cuairt a gael, mun chatach. Still fuam na mara.
Nisha, son an turas meiedig an san tréisio. For the final time this series, let's welcome another of our inspirational Gaelic learners, Liam Alastair Crouse. And I have to say, I'm really looking forward to hearing about his experience of learning Gaelic. But first of all, we'll find out a bit about him.
Hello, it's Mr. Liam Alastair Crouse. I'm Liam Alastair Crouse. I was born and raised in Rhode Island in the United States of America. Ha mi an nisha fuideach an anuist jis. Nu a hand me a galapa an an davilas a hawk hashik me a gims a Gaelic. I thought it would be a good way to learn about the history and culture of Scotland. I live in Uist with my girlfriend, who is Swedish and runs an online bakery in our village.
Stullam a bhí mwy. Mar sin thosaigh mé giascach na bhfhaighinn leis a chuaillig.
This gives me the opportunity to be outside for long periods of time and enjoy the landscape. Today I'm looking to catch a trout. Sometimes I catch one, other times I catch none. Let's see if my luck's in it today.
Sé lá ma rí túbha locha bheith siad grása. For me, that was a good day beside the loch. Hai cóirseadúm a bhí mwy agus fascid a nuisce. I got this small wooden boat when I moved here. It's traditional to the Grimsay area of North Uist.
I also enjoy foraging along the shoreline. Bimi lorg strúpain, muirscain, agus feighinn.
We can use this when we're cooking at home.
Am your son learning áramsa, bhí fhaighinn amach barach mé an cultúr agus eachtar na hallapa agus gabhail uisht.
I am currently studying for a PhD in the oral tradition of Uist.
I'd love to tell more people about my work and someday get it published in Gaelic.
Well, fáil tuairt Liam does speak Gaelic.
Tadhal.
Lovely to see you here with us. Can you tell us, how did you start learning Gaelic?
Well, I started learning Gaelic in university. So I came over to do Scottish ethnology originally, but I found that I was getting a lot more of the culture and the kind of the interesting stuff, I guess, through the actual language in the classes.
So after university, how did your learning continue?
Well, the biggest step, I'd say, was I moved to South Uist, which is a place where Gaelic is still spoken. And so I think that's the main thing, as I went from intensively learning it, I guess, to kind of speaking it in my daily life. In native communities like Uist, I think people are generally, that they use Gaelic with friends and family and people that they've always known and always spoken Gaelic with. And so to have a new person come in who they're not sure if you speak Gaelic or how fluent you are. And so you kind of just have to, for the first year or so, I basically just had to speak Gaelic to everybody. And eventually it became natural and you kind of build those social language bonds. And nowadays it's not really a struggle. So everybody kind of speaks in Gaelic to me first off. And now even actually they kind of continue my learning. They're always trying to teach me new phrases. Oh, Liam, have you heard this? Or, oh, are you aware of this one? And so it's actually really good. They're continuing my learning in the community, I guess. And
do you yourself have a favourite Gaelic word or phrase?
Well, if I get to choose two, I'll do one's a phrase, which is blas a chrocain. And that you would say, Hami et blas a chrocain a Gaeilge. That means I've taken the taste of the can, of the clay pot of it. And it basically means that you grow tired of something. And then the second one is a word that it's one of these words that exists in dictionaries, but then you discover it in the wild, as it were. So eòin-mhara, which is when a horse is twisting on its back. So, for example, to rub off fur. So the h-ath ponies, I'm involved in the h-ath Pony Society at Na Stàitean Aonaichte. And it's a word that we actually use in the society. Oh. So when the horses, after the winter, in the springtime, they'll rub off their coats and they'll be gan usually in the sand or something. So I really like those words which are so descriptive, but are still used within the community and still understood. Yeah, that's really special. Well, Tafrit Gamor, thank you so much for coming to talk to us, and I know that your journey will be so inspirational to all of our learners. Sé de bheithe. Agus inis han talmán a gol on an cúideach Calum MacIlleathain, who's always game for anything. And in his own sideways look at Scottish life, Calum once again takes to the water. But this time, I'm glad to say he's in a boat. Well, at least for some of the time.
Today I'm h-ath, at sea, h-ath, and I'm looking for treasure. The Eòin island, Eòin, that I'm heading to, has a history of Vikings and smuggling, so I'm on to a winner. But the treasure I'm looking for isn't gold or silver, it's du agus gabhail, black and white, du agus gabhail, with bits of orange too. And the treasure isn't even hidden, it's on full display here at the Isle of May, the jewel of the Forth.
The treasure I'm on about here is nature, 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 and that's in abundance here. Nature in the form of seabirds.
Wow, h-ath, what a place, h-ath.
A seabird in Gaelic is an eòin-mhara, eòin-mhara, and seabirds are eòin-mhara, eòin-mhara. This Eòin plays host to more than 200,000 eòin-mhara. The most famous and the most plentiful of all here is the puffin, with around 46,000 pairs. Now the Gaelic for puffin is buach, buach, but actually There are over 20 recorded names for puffin in Gaelic. My favourite one? Seamus Ruach. Red James. Seamus Ruach. Look, there's Seamus and James and Jimmy and Jimbo, Jamie, Seamus Aina. David Steele is the manager of the Isle of May National Nature Reserve. So the puffins are black and white, but they've got this really bright orange beak. What's that all about? Are they showing off?
When they come back in the spring, big bright beaks, they get the mates. So that's what it's all about. It's all about display. And then in the autumn, it's actually a sheath. It'll actually come off to reveal a little black beak underneath.
What makes the Isle of May such an ideal habitat for seabirds?
Safe place to breed, there's no ground predators, and of course there's lots and lots of food in the North Sea surrounding these islands.
What's the wider picture for puffins and seabirds?
You know, with climate change and there's lots of factors, obviously with sand eel shortages, you know, some birds are really struggling. Things like kittiwakes, which have declined 68% in the last 30 years in the British Isles. That's a huge decline of seabirds.
I'd like to get a good picture of a puffin. What tips do you have for spotting?
They're quite inquisitive birds. They will come to you. So if you just sit quietly, they'll approach you quite nicely.
Brilliant. Now, what was it David said? Savach. Quiet. Savach. Jolov Snook. Nice picture. Jolov Snook. Aper plach a bhí in seo. What a pleasure to be here. Aper plach a bhí in seo. And I have found the treasure that I sought. White gold. Apparently, it makes very good fertiliser. There's a saying in Gaelic, Chogorach rish na cheáin, as silly as the birds, or maybe as daft as a brush. Chogorach rish na cheáin. Here, how much are you charging for the fertiliser? What? You guys drive a hard bargain.
Tadhal Calum. Agus scas a h-ath because of his hard work. Scas a h-ath. We now know that savach is quiet. Bhruidhinn is a puffin, one of the many eòin-mhara, which means, of course, birds of the sea, seabirds. eòin-mhara. And you can catch up with all of Calum's adventures from this past series on our website and on all of our social media platforms. Now, for the last time in this series, a bhfuil sibh díseal, and I'm sure you are. Let's speak Gaelic. You might want to ask someone who's been out and about what they've seen. Jé chunnaku. What did you see? Jé chunnaku. However, if you want to ask if they saw something in particular, it's fhaighinn. Did you see? Fhaighinn. For example, if they were lucky enough, you could ask fhaighinn. Did you see an eagle? Fhaighinn. To answer, if you've seen what's being asked about, we use the words chunnaigh me. I saw. Chunnaigh me. If you haven't seen what's being asked about, you use chamachga me. I didn't see. Chamachga me. Seo inyaman cúcht na bhruidhinn a h-aoin na Dunlop. We look at the Gaelic names of some of the animals, bhruidhinn, we regularly see in Scotland. A h-aoin na Dunlop. Remember though, you'll also hear many Gaelic speakers use the word beoch for an animal. Beoch, depending on which dialect they speak. A squirrel is a fiorach. Fiorach. A fox is siúmach. Siúmach. The Gaelic for a deer is fiúch. Fiúch. And finally, a seal is rón. Rón. To find the Gaelic names for many other bhruidhinn and their plural forms, remember to use the Learn Gaelic dictionary. You'll find a link to it from our website. Ach anisha nach coit sin and nach chorúch. Let's watch this next conversation.
Bí a chuma a go leir ascan Spáin, ha mé dóchas gunnarí gaine go leon an bliana.
In de chord an bíag agus an jochans an Spáin rúth andra.
Gich mé déw víach agus gol mé fian ma a héimeis. Ach han a beuntan go brie agus ha imach séirsa ian agus beach fuireach outs na beuntan.
Ha jóin agus béhichin an beantan na halapa cúteach.
Vaca tú díilere ans an Spáin andra?
Chunnig mé ian mór cultach rí díilere.
Nach el díileren an halapa cúteach?
Ha díilere na netthich in seo ewn an lochapit. Chunnig mé díilere vare agus díilere hu in seo.
Stillim jóin wike, stillim a bhí a géisteach rú a sein. Nuair a chluinnes tú a chuach ha fisach go bhfuil an saoire go tían.
Stillim sa eòin-mhara, nuair a bhaimi ans na hílinn in an dír, chunig mí ráin agus chunig mí lebetar an mhara, bha iad cho bria a snábhain sa bhuth.
In fact tú maidjin vara.
Chanacha héimiis, a chulam is géalachcin min eòin-mhara.
In fach tú much vare rí a héimeis.
Chunnig, bí mór an géine sin go arcavas an eòin-mhara écin. Chan éimú gal amach an bàta. Ódnan, biad glé ascairt siad.
Vaca tú riamh maithin ans na beantain san Spáin andra?
Chanachke a chola mé gurú maithanewn.
Ha muchcin fiach ans na beantain sa dhéanamalt.
Maithang agus múchan fiach. Sélan séid mi at lion sere gan Spáin, no gan a dhéanamalt.
And the lenshiv and chorúch. Did you follow that conversation? And the lenshive. We heard the Gaelic names for quite a few animals. Bhruidhinn. Or, as we heard there, h-ath agus beach. Many types of bird and animal. h-ath agus beach. We also heard a few instances of am fachgatú. Did you see? Am fachgatú. Katrina asked Aundra, am fachgatú júlere ans in Spain? Did you see an eagle in Spain? Am fachgatú júlere ans in Spain? And Aundra replied, saying, Chunnig me ian mór collochrí júlere. I saw a big bird similar to an eagle. Collochrí, meaning similar to. Chunnig me ian mór collochrí júlere. He then asked Seamus, am fachgatú much vara a riamh? Did you ever see a whale? Much vara, a sea pig. That's a whale. Am fachgatú much vara a riamh. Nach éistí na dhíis rí cúiste na happerstin a bhaisiid. And remember, you can watch all of the conversations in this series, supported by bilingual transcriptions, on our website.
Vaca tú díilere ans an Spáin andra?
Chunnig mé ian mór cultach rí díilere.
Nach el díileren an halapa cúteach?
Ha díilere na netthich in seo ewn an lochapit. Chunnig mé díilere vare agus díilere hu in seo.
Bí mór an géine sin go arcavas an eòin-mhara écin. Chan éimú gal amach an bàta. Ódnan, biad glé ascairt siad.
Vaca tú riamh maithin ans na beantain san Spáin andra?
Chanachke a chola mé gurú maithanewn.
We've already covered bhíoch, the equivalent to wood in English. Bhíoch sin scunnal. That would be great. Bhíoch is also used to talk about something that used to happen. Just as in English, if we say, when I was young, we'd play all day, Gaelic uses bhíoch in this same way. Bhíoch sin a clúiche. We'd be playing. But watch out for I would. because in Gaelic the word me disappears and instead we have the special form bhíonn, I would be, or I used to be. Bhíonn toirt i gabhail, I'd be happy to go. Or bhíonn a cluiche ó bhochgadú, I'd be playing from dawn till dusk. We've covered quite a lot in this episode, so let's have a quick look back. To say you went for a walk in the woods or forest, gaf mi cuairt tron chaile. Gaf mi cuairt tron chaile. To ask someone if they saw something, did you see? Fhaighinn. Fhaighinn. So, did you see an eagle is fhaighinn. Fhaighinn. And to reply, if you have, I saw, chonaic me. Chonaic me. And if you didn't, I didn't see, chanachge me. Chanachge me. Agus ha mi dúlaithe rá go bhfuil sin jidig a frógram agus jirig na stréisio a rian. I'm sad to say that we've reached the end of another series of Speak Gaelic. Sma a reinse bhula. Well done to all of you. Sma a reinse bhula. Series 1 and 2 of Speak Gaelic are available to watch again on BBC iPlayer, and you can download our podcasts from BBC Sounds. You'll also find lots of supporting materials on our website to keep you going until the next series. Don't forget to stay connected with us and with fellow learners, either through our language classes or through our social media platforms. And we'd love to hear how you're getting on, so please do get in touch. I hope that we've inspired you to carry on learning Gaelic and that you'll join us soon for Series 3. Fiach gan cúmse vidh a brín Gaelic. Gus an cynnig sin a ddiist, until we meet again, gus an cynnig sin a ddiist, mar sin leif.